Well, for the Queen, she has just lost her husband of over 70 years over the weekend. She said that loss was resulting in it left a huge void in her life. So she is grieving tremendously at the moment, and that is what her children were reflecting over the weekend when they spoke to British media. They told us about what life is like in the palace at the moment and how strong the Queen is being. And we know from the Queen, she always puts duty over anything else. And if she feels that it's appropriate and when she's ready, I'm sure she will address the nation and the world. We know that the palace, and I'm sure the Queen, in her grief, will be planning very carefully Prince Philip's funeral. Many plans that they will have had for this event will need to be changed as a result of the COVID restrictions. We know just 30 people are allowed to visit the funeral. Over the coming few days, we're expecting them to announce who is going to be at the funeral and also the funeral plan, the order of service, and what we're expecting. We do know that the funeral will be on Saturday, this coming Saturday, and at the moment we're in a royal period of mourning. So until the end of next week, the royal family, the Queen included, are all in this period of mourning and paying respects to the late Duke of Edinburgh. So at the moment, all royal engagements and royal events are called off, but once that time period finishes, the Queen has said that she is thinking about returning to completing her engagements, notably when Parliament resumes in about a week or so's time. But most people are assuming that other senior members of the royal family will fill in for a lot of the engagements that she had planned.
I'm sure she just wants to grieve it privately where possible. Will, let's change pace here, because it's been a very big few days in the UK. After so long, we're seeing restrictions finally easing. We've got some vision of people celebrating. Let's listen into what they were saying.
Honestly, it feels so good. It just feels like we're out of prison.
To be honest, it was a little bit anxious getting into it because you just don't know what to expect. But as soon as you sit down and have a beer, it's an absolute riot.
It was just nice to just be socialising with people and just be out. And
even if it was snowing, we'd still be here right now.
Yeah, we would be. Yeah. It's just so nice to see everyone again.
I'm having a brilliant time.
So good. Best I've ever felt. It's really, really nice to be back out.
You can see from that, Will, people are very excited. Is there a sense of freedom in the air right now?
There were smiles all round yesterday when pubs, bars, restaurants reopened up and down the country. I'm sure this morning it wasn't smiles, it was sore heads and a paracetamol or two. But that didn't stop the celebrations last night. A sense of normality returning to the UK. People able to ask for a pint for the first time in 97 days. That's how long pubs, bars, restaurants had been closed. People weren't allowed out. And now, of course, they are. They're allowed to go for a drink with friends in a pub, in the garden, in an outdoor space. As well as that, gyms are reopening, as well as hairdressers, and, of course, non-essential retail. And as well as being a morale boost for people up and down the country, that sense of normality returning, it's also a huge boost for the economy. The hospitality industry alone employs over 3 million people, many of them unable to work so far this year. So for them, it's not just a sense of moral boost, it's a sense of their life coming back to normal. Their income streams have returned, and more than just furlough payments. But Boris Johnson did say this morning that the lockdown was behind the falling case rates of COVID case rates in the UK, and not yet the vaccination numbers. We haven't reached herd immunity yet here in the UK. So with this easing of restrictions, it's looking like cases might slightly go up. We'll just have to wait and see the level of increase in terms of cases, and the race is well and truly on to reach herd immunity.
And is this a credit to the vaccination program? Because the UK is now moving into its next phase. It's hit that incredible target of 32 million doses already.
32 million doses indeed. And that is people in the top 9 priority groups that the UK have come up with. Either they're people with high risk of getting the virus, or their old age, for example, they have to shield. So far it's over 50s have all been offered their first dose of the vaccine, and all all the 9 priority groups. Now the vaccine rollout is targeting the 45 plus here in the UK to get them their first dose. But the vaccine rollout is facing problems in the UK. There are supply problems. There are export bans in Europe stopping some of the materials to create the vaccines here in the UK and also get the vaccines from the factories into people's arms. So there are problems to this rollout, and that coupled with the current plan focusing on getting people their second dose now, the 12 weeks later after they've had their first dose, means that that number of people vaccinated is going to plateau slightly. It isn't going to increase at quite the pace we have seen it for the time being. But today, the first people here in the UK were getting their Moderna vaccine, and this was approved a few weeks ago. Today, the first doses were injected into people's arms, and the UK have 17 million doses of the Moderna vaccine on order. So let's hope that that speeds up the rollout and gets things back on track.